But man, I mean, just if you could share with us real quick, like some of your history, what it was like before you got signed. We would love to hear that story. Just what it felt like making music before the signing, before the deal, what you were doing in that whole point of view.
The interesting thing about that is I didn't really spend a lot of time, or at least there's not like this long stretch of time where I was recording and trying to get a deal. You know, as a matter of fact, personally, I wasn't trying to get a deal. Like me,
Wow.
I wasn't trying to get a deal. My writers and managers at the time, my writers and producers and managers at the time, the camp that I was working with in Philly, I didn't know that that's what they were doing. You know, I was dealing with my own issues in my life. You know, I was homeless. I wasn't really cool with my family like that. You know, I was leaning on people, sleeping on their couches, depending on the kindness of strangers, going to open mic clubs, having all of these big grand ideas. I was actually discovering my own creativity. You know, it was a blessing that, those guys was willing to work with me and have me record. That within itself was a process. Prior to them, I didn't record. Like, I didn't know what it was to record a song.
Wow.
Yeah, I sang like to people. Like, that was my only experience with singing. I didn't grow up heavily in church. You know, it's there, but even then I wasn't in the choir. You know, like, it wasn't my life. The only role that music played in my life, it was a personal thing. I didn't really have supporting things in my life, that would encourage me to be successful in music, like nothing. I had people that I would hang out with. I had other kids that I would sing with. I would stop people on the street and literally strangers, around rush hour, and just stop them and ask them, to listen to me sing and tell me what they thought.
Wow.
They got mixed reviews. It was weird. I was really bold. I was a different kind of dude back then, dude. It was like you put a nerd, a geek, and just a weirdo all together. I was a music geek, man. I was really about being creative, and it wasn't just music, it was everything. Like, I was so into the concept of making something. I had friends that, almost had to tell me yo, you got to chill. You got to figure out what you want to do. You can't do everything all at once. Like, that's not going to work. You got to pick something, put as much effort as you can into that. At the time, I didn't want to listen to that, but it makes complete logical sense. Put as much effort as you can into one thing, make that work, and then you can use that to kind of, fuel or even fund any all the other stuff, that you want to do, which was weird because when that happened and I wanted to venture into other things, when I finally, popped, nobody was interested in that. They just wanted me to be this Musiq Soulchild thing, that wasn't even really Musiq Soulchild, to be honest. Like, if I'm being completely honest, Musiq Soulchild was something that I had to live up to because it wasn't my idea of Musiq Soulchild. But when you got a bunch of people pitching in their ideas, that, the saying goes, you got a bunch of chefs, in the kitchen. Wow. Everybody got ideas and want to tell me, because they may have had the experience and the history of working in this industry. And here it is, like, I didn't really have that much, time served. I started recording in November of '98, real here and there sporadically, I'll do like a cluster of months recording, and I'll be off, and come back and be off. So I recorded in November, like literally my first song that I recorded was in November or December, fourth quarter of '98, and then all through '99, here and there I started recording most of what people know as my first album, I Just Want to Sing, and even a few songs on Just Listen as well that didn't make I Just Want to Sing was, essentially, if you want to call it my demo, that I didn't even know was being played and shopped around. Like, I didn't know this until I got the offer from Def Jam. This is like at the end of '99, my manager's calling me like, yo, we got a deal for you. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? We got a deal for you. We got a meeting with Def Jam. Like, matter of fact, where are you? And I was back and forth from Philly to Georgia because I had family in Georgia. So in the colder months, I would just, go down to Georgia, which is why I essentially made the move to Georgia, to Atlanta later on. But yeah, man. So when I got the deal, I was like, "What? So what does that mean? Like, what am I supposed to do?" They're like, "Dude, like I really feel like you're gonna get a record deal. Like, what do you mean? What does that mean? That means you about to be out of here." I'm like, that doesn't register to me at all. Like, I don't understand what that means because I never really chased being signed. I never. If anything, I would have recorded my own stuff because back then it was, selling your own stuff was kind of like really popular. Print your own CD and sell it yourself. Like that was lit to me. But they was like, nah, man. Like it gets bigger than it gets deeper than that. I'm like, okay, well, fine. I'll just come back and I'll do the meeting. And I'm sitting in Def Jam across from Kevin Lyles, and all of these people was trying to tell me how dope I am, and I'm like, thank you, but I kind of don't care. Well, I don't want to come across like an asshole, so I'm just gonna like listen. So all of this talking, and then then that check came, and I was like, oh, okay, I think I get it now. I got it now. So this means I make money. Got it. Okay. So when that check came, and it was, for a dude living on the street, not really having nothing to his name and no plans of getting any money anytime soon, that was a come up, and it was through the process of being in the business that I started to learn what it meant to be in the business. Like, I took a lot of L's. I learned a lot of stuff. I had to, I'm sure like a lot of people in my time coming up just couldn't figure me out because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't have no artist development process, like it was. I didn't have nothing, man. Like I used to read a bunch of music. I used to read Vibe magazine, all them other music magazines, like on some Biggie shit. I used to read Word Up magazine, like that was my that was my only connection to the industry. I used to watch a bunch of video, TV shows, BET and all them other video channels, and then you like come up with a bunch of ideas in your head, like, yeah, I could do that. Damn, it would be cool to be on stage and perform all of that stuff. But I never really took it seriously. I never expected to be a fraction of what I ended up being. Like, it was not on my mind at all. You know what I'm saying? And I think, it was kind of a blessing, and it was kind of, I don't want to say a curse, but a not so good thing because, you can't see a lot of stuff coming. I've been, a lot of people, I've just been through a whole lot. It's been a lot of shenanigans, man, that I had to push through. So it's a blessing that I'm even still here because, a lot of people and friends of mine, people that I know about, they don't make it, man. Some people just, say, man, fuck this. I ain't doing this shit no more. This is dumb. You know what I'm saying?
I know we're out of time, but, man, just before you go, can you just share with us what we can expect this year? Because you've already had, like we mentioned, so much in the works. And we heard you're working on a bunch of stuff of your own. So can you tell us what we can expect?
Well, you actually mentioned the Dilla project. I wanted to release it in February, but some things got in the way. So there's been an official hold on that project. Hopefully I can get it out by May. That would be really dope, or at least as soon as possible. I'm also working with. I just started up a bunch of projects with a bunch of people. And just hoping something hits. I recently joined up with T3, speaking of Dilla, T3 from Slum Village. I recently linked up with him. We're a group now, I guess. It's only two of us, but we're a group called Trey Soul 98. We got a song on SoundCloud called Once Upon a Time. That's pretty cool. I could mention a bunch of other things, but, I'm kind of like, nothing has really been released, so okay. I don't know how that's going to go. So I don't want to say something is going to come out and then it never does. But I'm personally excited about all the work that I'm doing, and I just can't wait for the stuff to come out. Of course, I'm working with Mila. She's working on her album. It's taking the time that it takes, but she's working on some really, really cool stuff. Yeah, and then trying to find out what it means because I'm technically a label now. I'm trying to figure out what that means. because I don't really know.
Yeah.
I'm working with Willie Hen. I've been working with Willie for years. You know, he's doing his thing. He's still out there. He's still working. You know, please go support him. And not just his shenanigans, because he's kind of a clown, but he's really dope as a creative, artistic individual, and not simply as a rapper. You know what I'm saying? And I just saw him, you know, the other night. Like, we still cool, but it's just challenging for people out here trying to do real work. You know what I'm saying? It's so challenging because it just feels like the more you do, you're doing too much. You know, and in order for you to succeed, you sort of, I don't like this term. I really don't like this term, but for the sake of conversation, you gotta dumb it down. You know what I'm saying? The more you dumb it down, the more accessible it is to people. But you got to understand, you know, the psychology behind that for an artistic individual. Like, I have to do what now to be accepted, when me wanting to do more is better. So better is not good. Got it. Actually, no, I don't. I don't get it. It's weird, man. It's like everything goes upside down. So, you know, I just, you know, I pray for all the artists out there and to find the wherewithal to figure it out for themselves. I encourage everybody to still stay true to what's real for you, and hopefully things will change. Hopefully people will find it within themselves to be more understanding, to be more supportive. I mean, that's all I can ask for. You know, I can't get mad at folks for not wanting to buy my stuff. Like, that's dumb. I mean, they don't have to. You know, it's cool. You know, however, as a person that made the product, yeah, it's a little frustrating when you put everything into something and you just get crickets. You know, it's like, wow, oh, okay,
right.
All right. So what do? I quit now? That's what I'm supposed to do. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I really don't.
Yeah.
But you know, I have a natural reflex where I got working on autopilot, and it's like, well, if I don't know what to do, at least just keep working, man. Like, hopefully something will matter to these people.